So I came across some videos of people saying people that are still having kids right now are slow people.
And somebody got to say it. The only people that are still breeding and having kids and procreating are slow people. You got to be slow. That's the only explanation I can think of. Either you're slow, you're delusional, you live in some type of delusional la-la land. I don't know. You don't have no type of situational awareness. It got to be something, arrested development, male-centeredness, something.
And some people are of the opinion that financially unstable people also are the ones that have more kids than financially stable people.
Nobody likes to have kids more than poor people and people who mentally cannot take care of them. Because it is so irresponsible to go ahead and have a kid when you already know you can't afford to keep the lights on.
Historically, that has always been the case, as high birth rates have always been linked to people in lower income communities. But that's due to systemic factors such as access to education, access to birth control, healthcare, and that part that it's only slow people that are having kids. I don't entirely agree with that because people have different opinions when it comes to having kids. There's the antinatalist perspective. There's also a logical perspective where some people think they're not, physically buoyant enough to have kids and to cater for them. There are lots of factors why a lot of people have kids and why they choose to not have kids. So calling them slow, I don't know if that's the right words to use. But I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Do you think it's right to call people that are having kids in 2026 slow? Let's take a look at how people are reacting to that video. This one said, my daughter told me she loves her future children so much that she's not having them. She's my smartest kid, by the way. The creator responded, extremely smart. She raised her well. Second one, I was born in 2001. Last week I was crying while explaining to my mom how mad I was for being born and forced to exist through this timeline. I think a lot of us feel this way sometimes. I mean, I've questioned my existence so many times, especially when life becomes real and things become very difficult. Yeah, so I understand her point. This other person says, actually, my children make my life better. Currently have my bachelor degree in cybersecurity. Before my kids, I was working a dead-end job. Wow. And then the creator responded, so you needed to have children to better your life. The fact that you all don't see the irony in saying stuff like this is funny as F. Whatever floats your boat, admire yourself. Yeah, I quite agree with the creator there because I've said on this channel a lot of times that I don't think it's right for people to bring kids into the world expecting that they make your life better, that they bring you some sort of happiness and fulfillment. It is not like you're putting a lot of pressure on that child. You're putting a lot of work on that child. It is your primary responsibility to give yourself happiness, purpose, and joy. I believe that if you're not bringing a child into this world to be a parent to them, to take care of a life, to nurture a life, and see them through this world and this existence, without really expecting any sort of award or reward from that child, then I think you're not going into it for the right reason. So this one says, cost of living is getting out of control. Disastrous weather conditions seem to be the norm now. And now we're learning that children are being abused by the rich and powerful. The rich and powerful who have major connections across the world. No, sir, no, ma'am. I love and cherish my future children way too much for them to experience this all. I won't have my own blood used as pawn to prop up this global system that don't care about them, but only see them as a commodity for these sickles that control all the power and resources. Burn it all down, let the system collapse. Ooh. What do you guys think of that? Truly, the cost of living has skyrocketed, and I only feel pity for the next generation because if things are this bad now, I wonder how it would be in 20 years' time. Imagine that they give birth to you today with the whole circumstances that the world is dealing with. And then 20 years from now, nobody knows if it's ever going to get better. That's the truth of the matter. So yeah, I understand the fear. It's a valid fear for people to want to save their future children, to not have to experience whatever is to come. I mean, we don't know. Nobody knows the outcome of tomorrow, but we can foresee that things are not going to get better. Things are going to get worse. And that part about the rich and powerful taking advantage of kids. Honestly, if we begin to count all the terrible things happening on this earth, majority of us would not even want to be here. It's just a lot of things that the mind cannot even fathom. A lot of predators live amongst us. And here's the thing, you can't actually save your kids from all of them. You can only do the best you can as a parent. That's the truth of the matter. So if you say you're going to have your kids and you're going to protect them from predators, from all the bad things in the world, how many of it are you even aware of? How many of it can you actually protect your child from? Like, we hear of new things come up every day. The Epstein files, like, nobody expected that kind of predatory, that kind of evil. So the truth is, the world was just built that way. This system, it's just a system built on a lot of evil stuff happen on this earth. And most of it we have no control over. So I understand people's point of view, honestly. But the truth is, people are still going to do what they want. And you can't judge everybody for doing what they want. We have free will. So people are still going to do what they want. The system itself is bigger than us. Humanity is bigger than us. That's the truth. So someone reacted to the video with a very different perspective. Let's watch it together.
I gotta say, the only people that are still breeding and having kids and procreating are slow people. You gotta be slow. That's the only explanation I can think of.
If you broke and miserable, just say that. Or if you just one of the two. It ain't no reason to project. And it ain't nothing wrong with not having kids because you don't have the financials or the mental capacity. That's fine. But to project and call everybody else slow and delusional because they may be in a position to be able to expand their family is crazy. And her take wasn't even the craziest thing for me. The craziest thing was her comment section. It was full of mothers agreeing with her. Mothers saying, yeah, I got 1 kid, 2 kids, this, that, and the third, and I regret it. I don't know what I was thinking. I was stupid. Mothers. Fathers would never. Men don't operate that way. And again, this is why children need their fathers in their life. Because moms, not all, but moms are in people's comment sections saying they regret having their children. And her argument is that this world is so bad and evil. Why do we keep bringing kids into it? When at this very moment, we live in probably the best age and time ever as humans. Because to her logic, it makes me think, okay, so your mama made a mistake with you. Then your grandma made a mistake with your mama, because all of those times were much harder. So to your logic, your mama, nor your grandma should even be here. As a father who has a son with another son on the way, I love it. I love it. If you have the mental capacity and the financial means to expand your family, I would recommend it. I love it because in this crazy world that we live in, it's an opportunity to drop some light into it. And it gives you a whole nother perspective of life. Kids unlock a whole new level of joy that you didn't even know you had in you. Because with kids, they don't even care about the crazy world we live in. They don't care about any of that. They don't care about how much money you got. They don't care about material, none of that. They care about you. Every time they see you, you make their day. They smile from ear to ear. That's an amazing feeling. But if you don't have the mental capacity or the financial means to add kids to your life, then yeah, don't do it. Because when they do come, they're going to make your life more miserable than it already is. And it's not their fault. It's yours because you didn't have your life together. So that would be irresponsible. But to project and call everybody slow and delusional because they want to expand their family.
I'd like to hear what you guys think about what he said. But personally, I would say that the part where he said mothers were agreeing with her in the comment section, to me, I see that as, I didn't read that part. I mean, I skipped a lot of that. But yes, a lot of mothers were agreeing with her in the comment section. And I think that's because women are more compassionate. I mean, men are not the ones that carry the babies 9 months. Most of the time, men approach children from a legacy point of view, from an ego point of view. They don't think about the long-term effect of having kids, the life that child is going to live. Like, they are not as logical as women. From a mother's point of view, she sees this is her baby and she wants the best for her baby. The nurturing part of a woman would definitely want her baby to sail and thrive in the world that she's brought that child into. When she's looking and seeing that all the odds are against the child, it can break a mother's heart. I mean, she's the one that brought that child into the world. Men may not see it from that point of view. Men may just be happy that, oh, let's go, I have my legacy. Like, this kid is my legacy. Sometimes they may not, calm down logically and think about the outcome of a child's life. And it's obvious from what he said that a child, all a child cares about is going to be you, the parent. The kids don't care about whatever is happening in the world. You are all that matter in their world. Yeah, but how long does that last? People fail to understand that kids are not going to be kids forever. They're going to grow up and be adults. And the fantasy is going to fade away, and you find out that you just brought a full-blown human being into the world that is going to experience life as a full-blown human, not as your baby, as though your bundle of joy, as a full-blown human whom life is going to test like the way life tests everyone. So it gets real. Like, we need to be realistic, honestly. So I feel like women are more realistic. No, I think it's more real for women. And most of them, they realize this after giving birth. Most people don't put so much thought into having the kids. And when the kids come, that's when the realization kicks in. So I don't think this guy really understands. I understand his point of view. But I think that's coming from a selfish place, if you ask me. Because everything he was saying was him. The child brings joy into your life. All the child is going to care about is you, their parent.
The only people still having kids right now are literally slow, okay? Because, first off, people don't want kids. They want babies. Oh, I want to have a baby. I'm ready to settle down and have a baby. When's the last time you heard somebody say, I want to have a kid? I want to have somebody to sit down and teach math to. I want to have somebody to teach how to use a computer.
Nobody likes to have kids more than poor people and people who mentally cannot take care of them. For example, I look at my life, right? I have enough money to pay my bills and then I have a little left over where I'm comfortable. But I know I would never bring a kid into this situation because I would not be able to provide them a good quality life. And I feel like a lot of people need to have this conversation with themselves and their spouses before they just decide, oh yeah, I want to have a kid. Because it is so irresponsible to go ahead and have a kid when you already know you can't afford to keep the lights on.
Personally, I believe that if a person is not financially stable enough to accommodate kids, then don't bring them into the world. If you're going to have kids in poverty, that's not a wise decision. Like, that's, logically speaking, is not a wise way to go about it. Because I feel like if you do that, you're only creating a cycle of poverty, of hardship. That child is not going to have a good quality of life. So personally, I think it's very irresponsible for people to have kids when they're not financially stable enough to take care of that child. Have the number of kids that you know that you can financially take care of. That's the most logical thing to do.
And if you have not acquired wealth, you have no savings, you have no foundational financial security, your child will in turn become a slave to the system, a labor slave. They will have to work 10 times as hard and work like a fucking dog. No human deserves to have to go through that. And that's why I'm so against people having kids when they are poor, because this world is literally built off of transactional labor. So it's just like, if you don't have the funds, maybe you being a parent is not the right thing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it may sound like eugenics, but I don't give a fuck. That's how, because poverty, people understand poverty is literally fucking traumatizing. And if you have to sit up there, nobody who has actually had to crawl out of the gutter would ever want their child to have to do that. Like, and the people who are willingly doing that for the sake of, I want to keep my kid, I want to be a mama so bad, you are sick.
100%. Yeah, they say money gives you access, money gives you freedom. If you come from a family that is financially stable, it makes the journey easier for you. You would have more options. The family would be able to afford you a particular lifestyle. And when you're in need, at least you can call home for help. You can get some sort of support, educational wise. If you would get some support from your parents, you would not feel alone. You would not feel, you would not be starting from the scratch where you would have to, take anything and everything. You would have more options when you have a family that, at least to an extent is there for you. But if you don't have anybody that is there for you financially, you come from a poor home where nothing at all is available, like nothing, there's no resource, there's nothing coming from home. You're going to take anything and everything, and people are going to take advantage of you. Employers are going to take advantage of you because you would take anything. You would not have the qualification to have a better life because your family will not be able to afford it. And even if you want to get a better life, you're going to work 10 times harder than someone that comes from a family that you would afford an average lifestyle, at least. This is how generational poverty cycles occur. When parents have kids in poverty, nobody is there to help them elevate. Nobody helps them. Everybody's just struggling and trying to make ends meet. And then they give birth to their own kids in poverty, hoping that those kids are going to take them out from poverty. But they don't know that wealth does not work like that. Wealth is not as easy as we see in movies. Most people that are wealthy today had some sort of backup from their parents, had some sort of support from their parents. It didn't come from thin air. It's hard to become successful when you don't have anybody backing you up, when you don't have any kind of help from anywhere, especially family. You have to work times 10. You have to be traumatized times 10. Something that would have taken you 1 year, 2 years to achieve, it will take you longer to achieve. When you don't have a family that helped you to reach a certain level, that has supported you to a certain level, success becomes harder. Don't you see how generational wealth often stays in rich families? It's because they keep that wealth amongst each other. They help each other. They connect. They have connections with each other. They plant for their kids and they had wealth already on ground for those kids. So it's hard for someone that comes from a wealthy family to suffer because you're not starting from scratch. So yeah, that proves my point exactly.
A lot of y'all have kids and genuinely believe that it does not cost a lot to have kids, which is why we consistently have this child support conversation, is because a lot of y'all want to apply humble beginnings and struggle love on kids while you live a luxurious fucking life in so many fucking words. What I mean by that, a lot of y'all feel like it is acceptable for you to be able to go out of your way to spend $1,500 on Jordans, but at least putting $300 to $500 worth of groceries in your motherfucking house is way too much because a child don't need all that fucking food to grow. Y'all be trying to justify your lack or your selfishness when it come down to your kids because you literally actually just never actually wanted kids, and y'all actually only be wanting the kids for aesthetics without recognizing that it does cost a lot to have a fucking child. Children are fucking expensive. Before you leave that hospital, you're literally paying, if you don't have insurance, 6 figures simply for bringing that motherfucker into this world. That first year, you are quite literally spending possibly 6 figures if you do not receive any sort of government assistance to feed that baby, and if you're not breastfeeding. Infamil milk, when my 6-year-old 6 years ago, can of Infamil was $50, $60 a piece. I don't know how much they is right now. Y'all be walking around here wanting to humble and make children live such a lackluster ass life. And I don't understand why. I don't understand why y'all choose to bring children into this world to genuinely humble them or force them to live a life that they didn't ask to live.
Yeah, that mentality is honestly very dangerous. I've heard people make statements like, your kids need to suffer so that they would be sensible. If you hand everything over to them on a platter, then they would waste it. They would not be wise. You need to let them learn life through poverty. Does that make any sense? Logically, it does not make any sense because those kids did not ask you to be here. You decided on your own to bring them into this world. So you owe them everything. You owe them taking care of them. Why would you bring in kids into this world with that kind of mentality? There is no humbling with poverty. You can't humble a person with poverty. You're only traumatizing that person. There's no training there. I understand when parents withhold some things from their kids to teach them a lesson, to teach them about life and all that. But it's different when you're withholding basic needs like food from your children with the aim of humbling them. It makes no sense. You're just a wicked parent. Like, some people come from very average homes where their parents can afford to take care of them, and the parents would want them to work instead. I don't know. It makes no sense to me. I'm Nigerian and I'm Igbo. And in my culture, your parents foot your bills till you're done with university. And even when you're done with university, they mostly help you until you stand on your feet. Like, that's the mentality I have about having kids. You should take care of your kids until they're able to take care of themselves. And some people, it's a cultural thing. There are some cultures where they believe that once, even in America, like, I know so many people, once a child is 18, they let them go figure out their lives on their own. So many families do that. So many people do that, which I don't think that's right. Unless you're just letting them exercise their freedom of, independence. But if they need your help, you're going to be there for them. That's different. But cutting a child off entirely because you feel like they are of age, or cutting them off entirely from helping them because you feel like you want to humble them, you want to teach them life the hard way, that's wickedness to me. What kind of life do you think they would live when you try to humble them with poverty? So this mentality needs to stop. Parents need to take their jobs seriously. If you decide to have a kid, then it is your primary responsibility to take care of that kid until they are financially stable. And not just basic needs. Basic needs are primary. It is that's a no-brainer. But also, it is your responsibility to be there for your child through their life's journey, to guide them, to be of assistance to them in their life's journey in any way they need you as their parent. Because they didn't ask to be here. You brought them voluntarily into the world.
I honestly think people have kids for the sake of it. I think people get to a certain age, late 20s, mid 30s, and think, oh, I need to have kids now and I need to get married. Why? Why are you having kids? Because something has just sparked something in me to say this. Why do you want to bring children into this world? Have you asked yourself that question? For me, I don't think I want to do it. No, you know what? I'm probably scared to say I don't want to do it. Do you know why? Because I don't want them to experience anything that I've had to experience in this life. Everything that I'm doing in this life, I'm working away from. Everything that I've had to work so hard in my adult life to work myself away from everything that I was taught, and I'm learning everything. So why am I going to want to bring children into that when I don't even have a stable environment? Half these people that are having kids don't have a stable environment, don't have nothing to offer them, don't have nothing to give them, but they're still having kids. Why? Why are you having children? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Why are you bringing children into poverty and then they're lost? They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they want out of life. They have no sense of direction. Then they go and get pregnant and they continue the vicious cycle. It ends with me. It ends with me, bruv.
Anyways, I'd like to hear your thoughts about this topic in the comment section. And if you watched it this far, thank you guys. I really appreciate. And don't forget to like this video in case you found it educating in any way. And on that note, we've come to the end of this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Have a blessed day. Bye.